Hello. Welcome to day 5, your nutrition protocol for days 5, 6, and 7. It's our first weekend of this program. So, how do you feel about it? How have the first 4 days gone? Have you done your workout today? Are you feeling geared up today? Are you getting into the flow? How are you doing with the non-negotiables? So the water, the workout, the positive mindset. They are our 3 non-negotiables each day. Even when you're having a down day, I really want you to focus on the positives. I know sometimes it can be hard. I want you to focus on the positives, on the wins. It can be your win could be the fact that you've had 2 liters of water a day and it's not something you normally do. A win could be something like you've done your workout today. And again, if that's something you don't normally do, it can be non-workout related. It can be non-nutrition related. I want you to think about the wins and focus on the wins. That's going to help drive you forward and not bring you back thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done this. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's one of them. We want to be moving forward. We don't want to be dwelling on the past. We use the past. We use our previous experiences and our previous choices to help us, to help us make future better choices, because that's what it is. Life is all about choices, and it's about what choices we make ourselves. We choose to consume certain things. We choose to do certain things. Let's make those things more positive and let's get them to attribute to our healthy everyday life as well. So I always want you to try and focus on I do want you to focus, not try, do focus on the positives. Whatever your positive is, even if it's one positive, just focus on that and push forward. Like I say, if we've had negative experiences in the past, we don't want to dwell on. We want to use it to help us build, grow, and persevere and move forward. We know what works well for us sometimes. And this is what this program's all about investigating what works well, what doesn't work, what nutrition protocols work. And you might find that some nutrition protocols work for certain points in the month, but not other times in the month. You might find in 2 months' time something that we're doing in this program will work for you then, but it might not work now. So it's all trial and error, ebbs and flows, trying it out, seeing what works. And most importantly, making those healthy choices and using your past experiences to push on forward. So typically what normally happens at the weekend, well, we let our hair down, maybe a few too many drinks, takeaway, family stuff. We're not quite organized as we are in the week because other things happen. We're not in a routine. We're doing different things. So what are you doing this weekend? Let's start thinking contingencies for what we're doing. Now, especially at the weekend, you've been working so hard this week. You've got another day today of doing your nutrition protocol with no snacking. So what are we doing this weekend? We want to be thinking about if we're having wiggle room. Are you having wiggle room this weekend? So when I say wiggle room, especially if you're new to these programs, I plan for a time zone in the day. So whether it be a lunchtime, whether it be dinner time, whether it be breakfast, you choose one of those zones for your wiggle room. So if you're going to have it Friday night, as in tonight, if you're going to have it tonight, that's your wiggle room. And then the rest of the weekend, we are on point. Are you going to have it Saturday? You're going to have it Saturday lunchtime, or you're going to have it Saturday night, or you're going to have it Sunday lunchtime, Sunday night. When are you having this wiggle room? This is where we do the nutrition relaxation. So all this week, we've been in calorie deficit through eating food. We don't think about the exercise. We don't think about the calorie deficit because you can't really truly 100% work out how many calories you burned in a session. For me, I could have burned 200 calories in a session. For someone else, they could burn 500. This is just a ballpark. You could burn 500 calories in a session. So we don't tend to consider that. It's great to have a ballpark idea, especially if you've got like a smartwatch or a heart rate monitor, something that tells you what you've been burning. So you can use that as a ballpark. And I really find that helps. It does spur you on. It really does. But when it comes to the nutrition side, I don't want to be factoring that in, because if we have a day, if you're poorly, or if you have one of those days where it's just not going for you, it's good to be able to call upon the nutrition side of things as opposed to rely on the exercise. It's good that we have a control and we look to have those choices over all aspects. So let's look at the nutrition. So when you have the wiggle room, what typically happens? We typically go, oh, I'm going to have wiggle room, and then it turns into a whole weekend. And then what happens? We end up eating way over our total daily energy expenditure. So all this week, for example, Monday to Friday, if you're eating in a 200 calorie deficit per day, I'm just throwing that as a ballpark because we've been doing a couple of intermittent fasts, which are usually 500-600 calories, but just for ease, 200 calories a day. So think of Monday to Friday, 200 calories a day. That's 1,000 calories you banked. You've put that aside. Now, over the weekend, you can, if you have one wiggle room point, say for example a bottle of wine, that is 800 to 1,000 calories. So they are your banked calories gone. But if you're still working in a calorie deficit over the weekend, we can still redeem that just from that one wiggle room. Whereas we could be eating in a calorie deficit all week. We could have that 200 calories a day deficit, but over the weekend, if we eat at around our TDEE, or total daily energy expenditure level, and then we snack, we drink excessively, and we don't gain control of what we're doing, that can go way over. So, for example, that bottle of wine is 1,000 calories. So that's all you've banked this week. What if you have another bottle of wine on another night? What if you have a meal out? What if you have a pudding? What if you go out on the Saturday day, and the Sunday as well? It tips you over the edge. It tips you over. So all those calories you've banked all the week, you've had them and more as well. So we want to be thinking of a level playing field. So if we can have that 1,000 calorie deficit roughly for the week, we have that wiggle room, and then we put a contingency plan in the next day and the next to make sure we are bringing it back down so we're back under. So essentially, if you have that wiggle room, then you have then we have the contingency. You're still going to be in about 500, 600, 700, 800 calorie deficit for the week, and that's still going to be a healthy way of doing. That's still going to be a really good way to lose fat. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. So we don't think of it as one day. We never think of it as one day. It all adds up over the course of the week, month, and years. That's how it all adds up. So we don't think of just one day. This is why I always say to you, if you've had a day where you've just eaten, and you've just had one of them days, you draw a line under it, and then we move on. We move on from it, because there's no point dwelling on it, because then the next day you're going to do the same, next day you're going to do the same. And then before you know it, you're way over your weekly calorie intake. Whereas if you draw a line, if you have a day where you just one of them days, you draw a line under it, and then you go, right, okay, I'm back on it. We're on it now. Let's get back to it. And you can still redeem it. You can still redeem the week. That makes sense as well. I hope it does. So wiggle room this weekend. What are you doing for wiggle room? What are you having for wiggle room? Are you going out for a social event? Are you staying in? Are you spending time with family? What are you seeing friends? What are you doing? Or are you not having wiggle room? Are you thinking, right, I am on plan, I'm on program, I'm all right. I don't think I need the wiggle room this weekend. I do encourage, particularly if you don't have it this weekend, I will encourage you to have the wiggle room next weekend, because it's good for your mental health. It's good to have that mental break. You need that psychological break from it. And the wiggle room, it gives you that edge. It gives you that control, because you can go, right, I'm having my wiggle room. Enjoy it. Own it. Don't feel guilty. Have it. The next day, back on plan, back on program. Yes, I can have the wiggle room, and then I can move on and continue. I can get back in control, and you're in control. That's what we want to do. So keep me posted on it. I want to hear what wiggle room you're having, what you're doing for it. Let me know. This is what we're doing today. Today, you are doing 3 balanced meals, no snacking in between the meals, 3 to 4 hours in between. If you are hungry about an hour or two after your meal, we need to be looking at portion control, or we need to be looking at what macros you are having, and potentially maybe increase either the protein or the carbohydrates. I tend to find it's usually the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are our friend. I'll talk about that another time. Over the weekend, you are going to do 1 intermittent fast and 1 day of 3 balanced meals. So if you're going to have your wiggle room tonight, you have your intermittent fast tomorrow, 3 balanced meals Sunday. If you're going to have your wiggle room Saturday night, you have 3 balanced meals Saturday, an intermittent fast Sunday, because we have that contingency. We have the wiggle room, we go a little bit over, and then the next day we retract it, we redeem it, and we bank a few more calories by having an intermittent fast. Make sure you drink plenty of water over the weekend, particularly if you're drinking as well, drinking alcohol, because it will just make you go out the window and you'll go, I'll have this, I'll have this, I'll have this, I'll have this. So make sure you are drinking plenty of water as well. Sunday, if you're having your wiggle room Sunday, you are going to do your intermittent fast on Sunday, and you're probably going to be breaking. I'm assuming it's, if you're having it on Sunday, it'll be Sunday lunch. So you'll be breaking your fast with the Sunday lunch. And what a fast breaker that is. Awesome. Load up on green veggies, hearty veggies, root veggies. Enjoy. Skin on for the potatoes, those kind of things. I like roast potatoes with skins on. So skins on, it's even more fiber, and it takes longer for it to digest in your gut. All right, then. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep me posted. I want to hear everything that you're doing. And I want you to let me know your wiggle room and how you're getting on. Have a great day and a weekend. I'll see you later.